we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference.
Well, hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the All Around Growth Podcast. My name is Rob Kaiser, and I am your host. Today is Thursday, June 9th, 2022, and the topic of today's show is career moves, what to do next. Now, you may be approaching a point in your life where you are considering a career change. And if you're wondering what steps you can take to prepare yourself for the future, then this is the episode for you. I am currently 2 weeks into a plan that has the potential to empower me to radically change my life, and that plan involves my career, and that is exactly what we're going to discuss in today's episode. But before we dive into today's episode, for those of you who are new to the show, or for those of you who are catching up on past episodes, here's the deal. Now, we're mixing up the show format a little bit in order to rotate through 7 topics on the regular, with a bit of homesteading and topics from the Old Farmer's Almanac thrown in there from time to time. So what exactly are these 7 topics we've been rotating through, you might be wondering? Well, those 7 topics are key areas in our life that we need to work equally in order to achieve a balanced life. Now, setting goals in these areas is a highly effective strategy to improve on all-around growth in life. And these 7 areas are financial, physical, personal development, family, spiritual, social, and career. Now, here's a breakdown of where we're at in the current rotation of these 7 topics. Last week on Tuesday, we covered a financial topic with a show titled Getting Credit Cards Under Control. Last Wednesday, we covered the June newsletter from York Meadow Farm, a homestead show. Thursday, we covered a physical topic with a show titled Intermittent Fasting 101. And Friday, we closed out the week with a personal development topic, having a show appropriately titled Personal Development. Monday's show this week was a family show titled Inflation and Your Family. Tuesday's show was a show titled Audience Feedback on Spirituality. Yesterday's show covered a social topic with a fun discussion on contra dances. And that brings us to today's show, the final topic in the beginning of this initial round of rotating topics. And that topic is on career. Now, again, the topic of today's show is career moves, what to do next. And, perhaps you're approaching a point in life where you're considering a career change. Now, I've been there for sure. And as a matter of fact, I'm currently executing on the plans that I made when I began considering making this career change. Now, this plan includes working through the 48 days application guide and workbook. Now, up until a few months ago, surprisingly right around the time I began thinking about the best approach to take to work through the process of making this career transition, I learned of this 260-page guide that was apparently only previously available to those who participated in the 48 days online seminar. Now, in this combination, which is linked to in the show notes, you get a hardback copy of the 20th anniversary edition of 48 Days to the Work and Life You Love, also titled 48 Days. Prepare for the New Normal. And you get the companion application guide, which is apparently a $197 value. You get this for a limited time price of $67. Now, this isn't some kind of affiliate deal. I don't benefit in any way from sharing this information with you. However, I think that this is so valuable that I'm even tempted to get a couple additional combo sets just to keep on hand for gifts for future mentors, gifts for anybody that I might encounter in life who might be, working through this process on their own. That's how valuable I think it is. So let me share with you a few bullet points of what this application guide is all about, and then I'll give you some insight into the action steps I've currently taken over the last 11 days, and we'll get a little bit of a snapshot for what's coming up for the remainder of the 48 days program I am currently executing upon. All right, now in this 48 Days to the Work You Love application guide, like I said, it's a 260-page workbook that takes you step by step through the entire 48 days process, including a step-by-step checklist of what to do each of the 48 days of your journey, and we'll take a look at that. Like I said, I'm on day 11. It also includes journal opportunities with each chapter to help you stop, process what you've read, and determine your next step. It also includes a close-up look at the wheel of life where you can rate yourself and determine which of the 7 areas of life, career, financial, social, family, physical, personal development, spiritual, that you need to work to achieve more balance in your life. And I make no bones about it where this show comes from. These 7 areas of life that we're focusing on, it comes directly from this. That's how much of an impact 48 Days program has had on my life. The book also includes a personal checkup of where you are now so you can make a plan for your future. It includes specific areas to plot your 5-year goals, 1-year goals, and immediate action steps in each of the 7 areas of your life. It also includes a dive into the personality styles so you can begin to look inward and get a feel for which personality style you are. It includes a checklist to help you determine your skills and abilities and which ones you should lead with, and a quiz to help you determine if starting a business might be good for you. Now, whether you're looking for specific steps to landing a job, looking to understand yourself better, or trying to determine if a business is the way to go, this application guide is a great place to start. And guys, let me be honest with you. That's exactly what I read off of the 48 Days website. And while I think it is an accurate description of what I'm currently working through, I don't think that that description does it justice. Seriously, I have been putting in the time through this and in this, and like I said, I'm on day 11 now, and I am on page 84 of the 220 pages. Now, what is the book 48 Days to the Work and Life You Love all about? Well, work should be more than a paycheck. Stop dreaming about someday. 48 days from now, you could be in a new position that's not sucking you dry, or you may be generating income in a creative way that gives you more time and more income. This 20th anniversary edition of 48 Days to the Work and Life You Love provides fresh tips on a job search to bypass the competition, how to nail the interview, how to negotiate another $20,000 on your salary, starting your own business, and more. Now, I know that this is just kind of sales pitchy sounding, and of course it has to be. Dan Miller's writing a book. I mean, that's kind of the deal. Why this is, something that I've been drawn to is the parallels with Dave Ramsey. They both were coming up around the same time. And as a matter of fact, Dave Ramsey wrote the foreword in this book. And he wrote some key things like implementation is key. Knowledge without action is personified in the overeducated, broke and broken who wander listlessly among us. A step-by-step plan to show the world your purpose and your heart in a way that is most satisfying. That's what is included in this book. Yes, this material is satisfying and life-changing. because you will have the tools to discover a key part of the plan God has for your life. Dave Ramsey also writes that the difference between the successful and the troubled is not error-free living. It is that by discovering and implementing a life calling, the successful stand on their pile of trash while the troubled sit under theirs. You see, you got to think about this and think about that and think about why he wrote that. Think about who Dave is. All right, Dave also writes that work has become the daily grind instead of the great adventure it should be. And ultimately, however, by finding and functioning in your calling, you will increasingly grow in confidence that you were put here to win in spite of those things and not without them, in spite of the negative emotions that you have, in spite of the doubt, fear, and mistakes that you've made. You see, this book, 48 Days, is all about implementation. And Dave Ramsey is encouraging us to get out there and do it. And that's what I'm doing. You know, my plan, all of this podcast really sort of came to fruition right as I got out of debt and worked my way out of debt by following Financial Peace University. And now that I'm in a different position with my career, I will be hosting another Financial Peace University class again starting in July. And that reminds me, I need to reach out to some people who have signed up for it, who have asked me some questions that I have not responded to because they're messaging me through Facebook and I just don't use it that much, but I got to get back with them. At any rate, so yeah, the synchronicity of it all, the ties in the small world, it just seems like an appropriate fit in my life. And maybe it's an appropriate fit in yours. If you're into Dave Ramsey and you like what Dave Ramsey has to say, I suspect you'll like what Dan Miller has to say. So let's take a look at what the 48 Days plan consists of. All right, it consists of reading and writing, or a combination thereof, every day. And, you know, we commit a certain amount of time. And really, the best thing that I can do to describe this and give you an overview of 48 Days to the Work You Love is read to you the introduction to the application guide. So let me go ahead and do that before I share some of the daily activity points, because this will break down a little bit better what we're getting into here and what I've been doing over the past 11 days. Okay? All right, here we go. The purpose of the 48 Days to the Work You Love application manual is to train and equip you to understand yourself, recognize new opportunities in the workplace, create a plan, and move with confidence to higher levels of success and accomplishment. 48 Days to the Work You Love is a strategic program designed to help you move ahead in your career with the boldness, confidence, and enthusiasm that only comes from having clear personal understanding and a focused action plan. When we hear that 84% of Americans would like to change jobs in the coming year, it raises a lot of questions. Are there that many bad jobs out there? Why, with so many changing work models, are there still people doing work they don't enjoy? In a job seeker's market, why isn't everyone moving quickly to what gives them the most fulfillment? The answer is that most people do not take the time to look closely at themselves before choosing a job or career. They simply choose a job based on chance or opportunity, income potential, or other expectations. Thus, they live with quiet desperation and often, quote, go to their graves with their music still in them, close quote. Henry Ward Beecher. What a tragedy in the time of the greatest opportunity in history. 48 Days to the Work You Love is an extensive but flexible process. It deals with the whole person rather than sets of skills or compartments of knowledge. 85% of the process involves looking inward. That develops a sense of confidence in your direction. It is only by knowing yourself thoroughly that you can have the confidence in making proper life decisions. 48 Days to the Work You Love is a foundation for successful living and learning that can be the starting point for confident decisions in work, family, and social environments. You can move through the exercises gaining self-understanding, a clearer sense of calling or purpose, and then seeing the applications in daily fulfilling work. I want you to believe that embracing your passion, determination, talent, self-discipline, and faith will override the old methodologies of waiting for change or hoping that things will get better. I know you, like Henry David Thoreau, want to, quote, love deeply and suck out all the marrow of life. And as Thoreau continues, you do not want to, quote, come to die and discover that I had not lived. Now, finding or creating the work you love requires more than just filling in the blanks. Traditional career materials have superimposed vocations or jobs on people. This material moves from the inside out. Only as you understand your uniqueness can you then move forward confidently. That is a very individualized process. Your preparation for these working sessions, your enthusiasm for your future, and your belief in the process will set the stage for the results you ultimately will see. Yes, the world might seem to be an unfair place, and bosses and spouses can be demanding and unrealistic. But in reality, the whole world basically is a very fair place, and we tend to get compensated accordingly. People tend to end up pretty much where they expect to end up. So see yourself in the driver's seat at each step of the process. Now that's an overview of the 48 days to the work you love. And then in the very beginning, right after that, we have a personal commitment. And after this little personal commitment, there's a place where we write and sign our name and then list the date. And I think this is also important. It's like signing a contract with yourself. And the personal commitment reads as follows. The next 48 days can transform your life. I'm absolutely confident of that. No matter where you see yourself starting, 48 days is adequate time to look at how you are uniquely gifted, identify your strongest characteristics, consider the options, choose the best path for meaningful work, create a plan of action, and act. Believing that I've been created for a purpose and confident that my unique skills and passions can be applied in meaningful work, I commit the next 48 days to a new clarity and a plan of action for confirming my position in work that I love. I dated and signed that dated it on May 30th, 2022. And on day one, what we do is review the entire 48 days schedule. Now we see ourselves completing all the steps on the schedule as outlined. We recognize that you are not waiting for the future to appear. We are going to plan it and create it. We are going to review the overview and read the personal commitment, what we just read. Think about the process you are starting and sign and date the commitment. And if you want to start this process, again, no affiliate links, no bullshit. Go to the show notes, sign up, $67, get this workbook, get the hardback copy, get ready to change your life. All right? Stop making excuses. If you're struggling for a plan and you don't know what to do, this doesn't require anything else. This is a one-time purchase, a solid 260-page workbook, and a solid book. $67, can't beat it. Hell, I'm writing in pencil so I can go through this again. Anyways, basically what we've covered today is day 1. All we need to do is read the rest of the 48 days. And since we're already about at 20 minutes, I'm not going to go ahead and do this, but I am going to read the 11 days just so you can get an idea of what's going on. So that's day 1. Day 2, we read chapter 1. What is work? Ask yourself what work has meant to you so far. Then ask yourself what you were, quote, born to do. Has your work and what you were born to do been a match, or are they different? Complete the questions throughout chapter 1. And on day 3, we read chapter 2. Who would hire me? We look at our own work history and we recap our own work history. How close to the national averages are the lengths of your jobs? What caused the changes in your jobs? Was it something you did or circumstances beyond your control? Be totally honest in your responses. And then in day 3, day 4, we write our responses to the questions in chapter 2. Remember, your plan will come alive if you write your responses. Realize you are simply clarifying your past at this point. Then you will be better able to describe the changes needed for the future you desire. On day 5, we read chapter 3. Yes, I do have an education. And education is in quotes here. Describe your education in response to the information in this chapter. Identify 3 things you can do to improve your knowledge or ignite your creativity. On day 6, we make a list of some of your non-traditional educational experiences. We make a list of all the skills we have gained through these experiences and which of these skills do we think is most marketable. On day 7, we take a few moments to list some of the needs people have that we might be able to meet. And as we make our list, we mark 3 or 4 ideas that might become a source of income. And we keep this list handy for future reference. And we're doing all of this inside this workbook here. All right? Now on day 8, we read chapter 4, Creating a Life Plan. Are you comfortable seeing work as simply one tool for a successful life? Are you making deposits of success in the other important areas of life? Now on day 9, we talked to 2 people today about your new understanding of vocation, career, and job. See if you can describe them in a way that gives those people new hope and inspiration. And in part, that's what I'm doing today with this, sharing my experiences with career. I mean, what did we title the show today? I have to look and refresh my memory. The title of today's show is Career Moves and What to Do Next. So in addition to having lunch with someone on day 9 to discuss this and many, many other things, we ourselves are having a discussion about what to do next when we are considering career moves, and I am sharing my experiences with you. And I'm going to flip to day 9 when I get through day 11 here to do exactly that, kind of on the fly. On day 10, Dan talks about people who have inspired him along the way, and we are to name 3 or 4 people who have been positive mentors to us. And who could we contact right now to ask for advice? And finally, on day 11, today, we read chapter 5, Success is More Than a Job. And we complete the Wheel of Life activity. How would you describe your life balance? In what areas do you need work? And what is your strategy for overcoming the tendency to embrace sanctified ignorance? Now, tomorrow is going to be a big day with a lot of questions, completing all of the questions in chapter 5. And this is where the real work begins. You know, we could breeze through this. You could breeze through this and complete these exercises in half an hour, 45 minutes a day. But, you know, you get out what you put in. And I've decided to put in the time. And that's why I'm doing these episodes later in the evening. Because the reality is my mind is freshest and most sharp when I wake up. I'm an early bird, so I've decided to change up my morning routine a little bit. I wake up, I stretch. If I don't take a cold shower, I just splash some water on my face, kind of get the bed head out of my beard, and go ahead and get ready for the day. And I take the dog for a nice brisk walk in the morning to get the blood flowing. And I go through and I sit down and I work through this for an hour before having coffee. If I'm drinking coffee, sometimes I'll have a cup with my parents and planning the day, because right now I am basically working full time with my dad, and we've negotiated a nice little work exchange together for the rent. And I'm basically working full time, and gonna see what's in store for the remaining 37 days as I work through this process. So, what is my new understanding of vocation, career, and job? Now, in day 9, we discussed this a little bit more in detail, and let's take a look at that real quick before concluding. Okay, that is in chapter 4, where we're talking about creating a life plan. And going through a job change provides a great opportunity to take a fresh look at your success in other areas. Rather than seeing your life at a standstill, see the opportunities for increasing your success in areas other than work. Make additional deposits of success in your physical well-being. All right, there's a lot of suggestions in here about work and images, that for the most part, our primary focus is on work, with secondary aspects of life being personal development, church, recreation, family, community, and hobbies. If we balance those equally, we have a balanced life. So the objective of this book is to help us plan our work around our life, rather than planning our life around our work. And part of the new understanding that I have about job and vocation and career is kind of based on what I'm about to share with you right now on page 70 of the 48 Days to the Work You Love application guide. Dan Miller writes, "Your job, work, vocation, career must incorporate the giftedness God gave you, a clear understanding of your personal aspirations, and an awareness of how you want to be remembered. You need a life plan that makes it possible to live a balanced life. Your job alone won't provide the success and meaning you want." Now, I'll just read a couple things I underlined in this chapter. You can gain a fresh insight into your future possibilities by looking at other areas of your life, such as hobbies, interests, latent skills, and abilities. Money, unfortunately, is never enough compensation for investing our time and energy. There must be a sense of meaning, purpose, and accomplishment. And there's a quote here from Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 10 that says, "Whoever loves money never has enough money. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with his income." There's a lot of focus in this about achieving balance in all 7 aspects of life. and an overwhelming thread that success is dependent on a commitment to balance in those 7 areas. And that's something I buy into. You know, we also read, trust your heart in this process. It is more intuition than logic. Be confident you can live out your dreams. Don't settle for anything less. You are not old until regrets take the place of dreams. You are not old until regrets take the place of your dreams. Guys, let that sink in. All right. If you are thinking about making some kind of career change, not really sure what direction to go in your life, this is a great tool and a great resource that you can use to provide some insight to help you build the life of your dreams. And so now that we've gained some insight into what I'm doing with my career and this time of transition, I'm really curious about what you're doing. Are you considering a career move? And if you are, what are you doing to prepare for it? I know some of you guys out there have actually gone through some career moves recently, changed jobs, gone back to the same jobs, you know, hate your jobs and are preparing for the next phase of life. So if that's you, let us know in the Telegram group, t.me/allaroundgrowth, and we'd love to hear from you. And if you are interested, check out the show notes for links to everything that was discussed today, this 48 days application guide, and more. And also, one real quick thing that I would like to announce is that the All Around Growth podcast is on Fountain FM. And this gives you the ability to share podcast clips and support creators like myself with Bitcoin. All of this is powered by the Lightning Network. There's links in the show to Fountain FM, and I would encourage you to check it out. If you like a particular episode, you can send me some Satoshis, share it with other people, and encourage people to start interacting with Bitcoin via the Lightning Network. I'm learning more about this. I'd like to give a shout out to Brian Norton from Food Forest Farms for turning me on to this and helping me get set up with it. It was super easy. And if you have a podcast, I would consider, or I would actually encourage you to consider getting set up on this as well, so that you can start creating or obtaining Bitcoin for the content you create. Very simple. Spread the word, get some Bitcoin, earn your sats, stack them, and do whatever you wish with them. All right, guys, that is it for today's episode. Tomorrow is Friday, and we are either going to get back into a financial discussion, or we'll do something a little bit different to close out the week, since we just wrapped up our first rotation of these 7 topics that are going to help us live a life of all-around growth. So tune in tomorrow. You'll find out what's up at that time. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.
The needs are many and answers a few. People turn away, and I wonder that I believe in friendship and love. And truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow. I'm an odd fellow. Whoa, whoa. I'm an odd fellow. If we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer the call. And know the times are wasting every day, and we can help somebody along the way. People may think that it's odd that I believe